Loving Sai Ram and greetings from Prashanthi Nilayam. In my last broadcast on Shirdi Baba, I offered you glimpses of the miracle cures effected by Baba, and I pointed out in the process that there are strong parallels to what our beloved Swami does. Today, I wish to present some more examples of Shirdi Baba's miracle cures, drawing, of course, on the invaluable narrative of Hemat Pant. Here are a couple of examples of Baba prescribing remedies that seem utterly irrational and indeed most shocking, and yet they did the job, as Hemat Pant testifies. Let us listen to one such story as narrated by Hemat Pant himself. Quote, "A very devout tailor, Bala Ganpat by name, once came to the mosque and stood in front of Sai, entreating him with a pious face. 'What is this great sin I have committed? Why does not this malaria fever leave me? Baba, numerous are the remedies that I have tried, but this fever does not leave my body. Oh, what shall I do now? I have tried herbal medicines, decoctions, everything. At least you tell me a remedy whereby this fever will go.' Baba's heart melted, and in reply, he suggested a novel remedy for malaria. Just listen to it. 'Feed a black dog near the temple of the goddess Lakshmi with a few mouthfuls of rice and curd, and you will be cured instantly.' That is what Baba said. With some trepidation, tailor Bala Ganpat then went home to look for the food. Luckily, he saw some rice and recovered. Curd too was found nearby. Bala thought, 'It is good that curd and rice are found, but will there be a black dog near the temple at the right time?' Baseless was Bala Ganpat's worry, for no sooner did he reach the place indicated than he saw a black dog approaching him wagging its tail. Bala was simply delighted to find everything happening according to Baba's instructions. He then fed the rice and curds to the dog, and afterwards narrated to Baba everything that had happened. In short, whatever one may say about this incident, the fact is that from that moment, the malarial fever left Bala and he got relief." End of quote. Now, if you think this is amazing, listen to the experience of Bala Sahib Bhutti, who suffered from cholera and was purging almost to death. He was attended by one Dr. Pillai, but to no avail. Cholera is a deadly enemy, and in those days it was not easily vanquished. And when nothing worked, Bhutti went to Baba. And what did Baba do? He prescribed an incredible remedy, bordering almost on the atrocious. Baba told Bhutti to drink lots of milk, eat a porridge made with rice and pulses, and top it off all by eating a lot of almonds, pistachio, and walnuts. Even a third-rate quack will not prescribe such a cure, but Baba did. While everybody was stunned to hear this prescription, Bhutti had so much faith in Baba that he did precisely as he was told, and sure enough, he was cured in a jiffy. One sees this trait very often in Shirdi Baba. The words would appear shocking, but invariably they are a test of faith. He throws a challenge as if to say, "Would you dare to do as I say? Do you have enough faith in me to follow my words and instructions implicitly? Or do you feel that I would let you down?" The faithful did not pay much attention to the words uttered by Baba, but simply followed his instructions. Now there is an interesting point here. If Baba had all the power in the universe in his hands, where was the need to eat almonds or walnuts or whatever? Could he not cure instantly? Yes, of course he could. But before he did that, he liked to give a small test. In the case of Bala, Ganpat and Bhutti, it was just that. Let us stay with Bhutti and see how he fared when after some time he had an attack of severe diarrhea. He had incessant loose motions combined with severe vomiting. He became so weak that he could not even go to the masjid for Baba's darshan. Let us hear Hemat Pant described what happened thereafter. Quote, news reached Baba's ears. He sent for Bhutti and made him sit in front of himself. He then said, mind you, from now on you will not go for the evacuation of bowels. And remember, even vomiting must cease. Baba then waved his forefinger and repeated these words again. Such was the awe produced by those words that in the fright, both these afflictions took to their heels at once, bringing immediate relief to Bhutti. End of quote. Here then is a clear case of sheer cancellation, if you will, of the ailment without any strange cures. As I mentioned earlier, God can always do that, but sometimes He might like to act through a smoke screen. Next, let us listen to the story of a Swamiji who was suffering from acute ear pain and how Baba dealt with him. This is how Hemat Pant describes it. Quote, once a Swami from Alandi came to Shirdi wishing to have the darshan of Sai Samarth. He arrived at Baba's abode, the masjid. He was suffering from an affliction of the ear which had brought on restlessness and a loss of sleep. He had an operation performed, but it was not of the slightest use. There were unbearable shooting pains and no remedy worked. So he decided to leave Alandi and came to Shirdi Baba for blessings. The Swami bowed at Sai's feet, received Udi Prasad, and then asked for blessings, praying that Baba's grace should always be with him. Madhavrao Deshpande entreated on his behalf to Baba to have mercy on his afflicted ear. Allah will make everything all right, Sai Maharaj assured him. On receiving this blessing, the Swami returned to Pune. After 8 days, a letter was received from him that shooting pains had stopped immediately. Swelling, however, was still there and another operation was recommended. The Swamiji wrote, I went to Bombay again for the operation. I went to the same doctor. I wonder if Baba found himself in a strait. But as the doctor examined my ear, he could not locate the swelling. And so the doctor said there was no need for an operation. The Swami was relieved of his great anxiety and everyone was amazed at Baba's Leela. End of quote. It all sounds familiar, does it not? Now we go back to one of those, what shall I call it, unorthodox cure prescribed by Baba. The patient in this case was Mahajani, the devotee whose job it was to perform the rituals in Baba's residence, that is the masjid. Now this Mahajani became a victim of cholera, and as everyone knows, cholera means innumerable visits to the toilet. How could a person suffering from cholera perform rituals when he had to literally run to the toilet every few minutes? The obvious thing to do in such circumstances would have been to report the matter to Baba and take guidance from him. But Mahajani did not do that. Why? Because he was sure that Baba already knew, since he knew everything that happened everywhere. So Mahajani kept quiet and suffered in silence. In the midst of all this, Baba ordered that the assembly hall where the devotees gathered should be paved. A day was fixed for commencing the paving work. Baba told everyone, I am going out to the Lendi, that was Baba's garden. When I return, the paving work will start. So saying, Baba left for the Lendi. After some time, Baba returned, and there was a big gathering to witness the commencement of work. Everything was in readiness for performing a ritual to mark the auspicious commencement of the work in the traditional style. A worker then took an axe and did the ground breaking. Immediately, Baba flew into a rage. The worker dropped his axe and took to his heels. Everyone was petrified and some tried to sneak away, unable to face Baba's mood. But he would not allow that. He forced all of them to stay. Having ensured a captive audience, Baba then took out a bag of roasted groundnuts. At this point, let us allow Hemat Pant to pick up the story. Quote, the shelled nuts must have measured a full seer. A seer is roughly a kilo. Taking them out by the fistfuls, he would rub them in his palms and clean them by blowing off the covering. He would then make Mahajani eat the cleaned nuts. Even as the abusing continued on one side and rubbing off the nuts on the other. End of quote. As if this was not enough, Baba made Mahajani top it all off with a lot of water. After this was over, Baba gave the signal to start the paving work. It all sounds pretty strange, does it not? What has paving got to do with the feeding groundnuts to Mahajani? And why this strange treatment which on the face of it goes totally against conventional wisdom where a cholera patient is concerned? No one can answer that except to say, as Hemat Pant does, that those nuts were Baba's prasadam, which is why Mahajani got cured. As our Swami would put it, it was not the nuts but Mahajani's absolute faith in Shirdi Baba that cured him. That really is the point of this story. God is not sending the message that He is given to tantrums. Instead, He is asking devotees, what is it that you see, my so-called tantrums or my love that hides me in the tantrums? Many complain, why on earth did not Shirdi Baba deal with his devotees in a normal fashion? Why did he have to go through such strange and highly confusing dramas? The answer is simple and would come to us if we stop to think intensely for a moment. You see, God can no doubt do anything, anytime by a mere wave of the hand. If God obliges all in that manner all the time, we would soon start thinking of God as if He were a mere slot machine. We dial up God, say a prayer, and expect God to immediately rush to our aid. No, God cannot be reduced to a robotic answering machine. And it is to drive home that point that God in human form often stages dramas, as He did during the Shirdi Avatar. To those lacking in faith, such dramas might appear as erratic behavior on the part of Baba. But for those with faith, it is a different matter altogether. The question might be asked, if Shirdi Baba was God, was He not aware of the faith of so-and-so? Why did He have to put those poor devotees through such a tough drill? The answer is that Baba did those things not for His benefit, but for the benefit of those who are present near Him. It is through such incidents that many learnt what hanging on to faith really means. Talking of absolute faith, I am reminded of a story that Swami used to narrate in earlier years. The story goes somewhat like this. One day, Krishna and Arjuna are taking a walk in a forest. Suddenly, Krishna says, "Hey Arjuna, look at the tree there. I see a crow sitting there. Do you?" Arjuna looks in that direction and replies, "Yes, Krishna, I do see a crow on that tree." The two walk a few steps further when Krishna suddenly says, "Arjuna, I can now see better. What I thought was a crow is not a crow at all. It's a parrot." Arjuna replies, "Yes, Krishna, it is indeed a parrot." Silence for a while as the two continue to walk. When Krishna says, "Hey Arjuna, you know what? I was totally mistaken. That bird, which I thought was a parrot, is not a parrot but a peacock." Arjuna looks where Krishna is pointing and replies, "Yes, Lord, it's a peacock." Krishna now stops, stares at Arjuna and says, "Arjuna, what's wrong with you? How can a bird be a crow, a parrot and a peacock? I thought my vision was not quite okay and I was trying to check with you. But you say yes to everything I say. Am I crazy or are you crazy?" With much humility, Arjuna replies, "Krishna, you are verily the Lord. With your power, you can change the earth into sky and the sky into earth. That being the case, is it not possible for you to transform a crow into a parrot first and then into a peacock? You know everything, and I know that. I have therefore full faith in whatever you say. That being the case, I merely said yes to everything that you said, that's all. What's wrong with me? Please tell me." That is a great story, is it not? Whenever we tend to doubt what Swami says, we had better immediately recall the story told to us by Bhagwan Baba himself. Let me conclude this talk by quoting some moving passages from Hemad Pant. Quote, "There are many gurus for material sciences and the arts, but only he who gives you self-knowledge is the guru of all gurus, or Satguru. He alone who shows you the shore beyond is all-powerful. Inconceivable is his greatness indeed. Whosoever went to have his darshan would be told the whole secret of his past and present without asking for it. He expected nothing from anyone but treated them all alike and showered blessings even on those who were ungrateful. Fortune or misfortune did not disturb his equilibrium, nor was he ever touched by doubts or misgivings. Blessed are the people of Shirdi, to whom Sai symbolized God worship, who incessantly remembered Sai while eating, drinking, or sleeping. Blessed, blessed is their devotion and love that makes them sing his praises all the time, while at work in the barn or in the courtyard, grinding at the quern or pounding grain or churning buttermilk. Sitting at leisure or while at meals or even while sleeping, it was Baba's name constantly on the lips. And but for Baba and Baba alone, they worshipped no other God. Oh, how wonderful was the love these ladies cherished for Baba. How sweet that loving devotion. It is only such pure love and not erudite learning that inspires such delightful poetic compositions. No doubt the language is simple. The expression is direct without a touch of learning. But the poetry that shines forth through the words will earn a nod of appreciation even from the learned. End of quote. I don't know what you feel, but reading all this written by Hemad Pant, I could not help feeling how accurately he has described in anticipation the current avatar whom we all worship. But then that should not be a surprise, for are not the Baba of Shirdi and the Baba of Puttaparthi one and the same? Thank you for listening. Jai Sai Ram.
मजन विचारिता पंढरीच्या वाटे मजन विचारिता पंढरीच्या वाटे जाल तरी काटे रुततील जाल तरी काटे जाल तरी काटे रुततील जाल तरी काटे पंढरीची वाट मोठी अवघड नाचिती होळी